Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt and I do like video games, and in today's video we're talking about that Xbox Showcase 2025. Let's get right into the video. So I just got done watching the Xbox Showcase with my buddies, and I felt like, let's make a video on it. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about the things that were the highlights for me, right? That is what this video is for. But before we get into that, I think there's probably two things from this show that a lot of people would consider the highlight of the show that I personally don't care about, but I think it's worth mentioning them because it is just objectively a very big deal. Okay, so first of all, Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VII Remake gets announced for Xbox consoles. That is coming later this winter to Xbox, and I think they're calling it Xbox PC now. We'll talk about that in a second. And then as well as that, they are also shadow dropped Final Fantasy 16 today on Xbox consoles. Neither of which are in Game Pass, but you're free to buy them. And the big news there, and this is kind of a broad theme throughout the entire show, and Sarah Bond drove the point home. Everything we saw at this show, including those two games, are Xbox Play Anywhere, and that is pretty important. And the reason that's important is because alongside all of the things announced today, they also announced the ROG partnered device, or the Asus partnered Xbox handheld. It's called the Xbox Ally. There's two variants of it. One has 24 gigabytes of RAM, the other has 16. One has 1 terabyte of storage, the other has 512 gigabytes of storage. Obviously, there's going to be a price difference between those two things. We don't know the price yet. I think Xbox's official blog post said to expect hearing more about that within the next few months. So who knows when we'll get a price, but probably the next few months. So we don't have a price on it, but if it works anything like the ROG Ally versus the ROG Ally X, well, then I would imagine there's probably going to be about a $300 price difference between the two. The more expensive one will probably be closer to 1K, if not over 1K. And if I had to guess, the lower tier one will probably be closer to 700, maybe 800, depending on how much the higher tier one costs. Either way, I think it's probably going to be an expensive proposition for a lot of people, but it's cool that it's there if you are interested in that kind of thing. Again, this isn't the official Xbox handheld. That has been sidelined for now. This is just a partner device. Think of it as a PC gaming handheld. And the good news about this thing is that they did say everything you see here will be playable on that handheld. So every game I talk about, I know I'm just talking about the ones that I'm interested in today, but every single game you saw at that showcase will be playable on that handheld. And every single game you saw at that showcase, like I said earlier, does support Xbox Play Anywhere. So if you get that handheld, you want to play, I don't know, the new Ninja Gaiden game, right? You can play on the handheld, you can put it down, you can pick it up on your Xbox and pick up exactly where you left off. It's Xbox Play Anywhere. And that's one thing I was very, very excited to see them focus on, was that everything at the showcase was going to have that feature. And that's very huge news, especially if they're going to be doing this handheld thing with Asus. And I'm going to start this off with third party, just the things that I thought were the most interesting from third party at this showcase. I'm going to kick it off with High on Life 2. High on Life 1 was fantastic, really funny game, super competent FPS game as well, like a really legit shooter, which was pretty surprising. I didn't have that expectation when the game was first shown off, like years and years ago. But now we're getting the sequel, and it looks to be even bigger and better, quite honestly. So I'm pumped for that. That game is coming this winter, and it's coming to Game Pass as well. So that is another thing to be excited for. And I think the surprise of the show, I wouldn't say it's my most anticipated thing from the showcase, but I am excited for it. But the thing that's really interesting is Game Freak was at this Xbox showcase, and if you're not aware of who Game Freak is, they're the Pokemon developers. In fact, I think they're co-owners of the Pokemon IP. But Game Freak has been making Pokemon games forever, and they showed up at this Xbox showcase. Obviously, not for Pokemon. They announced a brand new game called Beast of Reincarnation, and I'm not exactly sure what this is. The trailer looks really cool. Looks like you're fighting monsters, honestly. Gives me Monster Hunter vibes, but it looks like it's going to be a very single player experience, whereas Monster Hunter's, obviously more multiplayer focused. You can squad up with your buddies and everything like that. But this looks interesting. I want to see more on this. I don't believe we even know the year for this. Actually, I take that back. I think the year is 2026 for this game, but I'm interested to see more on this game because it really did shock me to see Game Freak at an Xbox showcase and announcing a brand new game that looks nothing like Pokemon, might I add. It's really cool to see, and it's definitely on my radar. Up next, we've got The Blood of Dawn Walker, and this is its, gameplay reveal trailer. And if you don't know what this game is, it's from the studio called Rebel. And if you don't know what this game is, it's from a studio called Rebel Wolves. A lot of these developers, not everybody, of course, but a lot of developers are actually ex-Witcher devs. And if you look at this game and the combat and everything, you can definitely see some Witcher influence in there. This game looks like it's going to be really sick. I remember when they showed this off, I think might have been Gamescom or something that this got shown off last year, but I remember seeing it. My buddy Ham told me about it. It was like, yo, you got to check this out. And I watched the trailer and I was like, dude, this looks amazing. The game still looks amazing. Looks like it's going to be really fun. And it's coming out in 2026. Now we got to talk about Chronos, The New Dawn. This is from Bloober Team, riding high after the success of the Silent Hill 2 remake. This looks gives me Dead Space vibes. I've seen people, listen, I've never played Silent Hill. Shame on me, I guess. I do have Silent Hill 2 remake. I still haven't played it. I bought it like last year. Still never played it. But from what I've seen online, people are kind of saying this looks like Dead Space mixed with Silent Hill. I can definitely see the Dead Space, but again, I have no experience with Silent Hill. So you guys in the comments will have to let me know what you guys think about that comparison. But dude, every time I see this game, I'm like, that's a day one. That's a day one. And when I saw it again today, again, day one, I'm getting this game. It looks spooky. It looks very action oriented, which I really enjoy. I love a horror game where you can fight back. It's one of the reasons I love Dead Space so much. They still do things in the game to make you feel on edge and feel that element of horror, but you feel like a badass in Dead Space. Like, they do a really good job with that. And I'm hoping that's kind of the feeling we're going for with Chronos The New Dawn. I mean, it looks like it might be. I mean, your guy looks like an absolute tank in that suit he's wearing. So I'm interested to see more of this, but dude, I'm already sold. It's kind of a day one for me already. And we also at this showcase got a new entry in the Plague Tale series, and this looks like it's going to be very different from the first two games that followed Amicia and Hugo. This looks like a whole new character, a whole different timeline, honestly. And I'm very intrigued by this. First of all, Plague Tale Innocence and Plague Tale Requiem, both masterpieces, honestly. In fact, once I saw the announcement for this, I actually went and bought those games on Steam. I'm going to be playing them again. Absolutely no questions asked. But this game is definitely on my radar. Good news about this one also, it is day one in Game Pass. So if you want to buy it, you can buy it. If you want to just play it in Game Pass, that is an option as well. Kind of like Plague Tale Requiem launched day one in Game Pass. I can't wait for this game. I love me some Plague Tale. I'm going to be there day one. And then the final thing I want to talk about from third party at this showcase is a game called Mudang Two Hearts. I could be saying that entirely wrong, and if I am, apologies, let me know in the comments. But this game is described as a cinematic tactical action adventure. I know I was watching it, it was giving off Splinter Cell vibes, but a bit more action oriented than Splinter Cell, where Splinter Cell was very stealth. You could do you could do action in there. You could go loud if you wanted to. Didn't always go in your favor, but you could in some cases. This looks like a more combat focused game, and it looks really, really awesome. Also, shout out to the people who like Squid Games. The main actor from this trailer was actually the bad guy in Squid Games. So the guy who played the bad guy in Squid Games, obviously. So that was really cool to see also. But I'm really interested in this game. I need to see more about it. But dude, what we just saw at the showcase looked really, really, really good. And again, this is coming in 2026. Now, the first game we're going to be talking about in this whole first party portion is the game of the show for me. And in fact, the one game I mentioned earlier that doesn't have a set year next to the game, Clockwork Revolution. In this game, like I said, game of the show for me. I was worried going into this Xbox showcase that nothing would beat Atomic Heart 2 at the Summer Games Fest for me. This beat Atomic Heart 2. This beat Atomic Heart 2 for me, and I was pumped for Atomic Heart 2 after seeing that trailer. That was an amazing trailer, by the way. But back to Clockwork Revolution. This game, I've been excited for ever since they first showed it off. Ever since it was kind of even first rumored. They were working on a steampunk RPG. We didn't know what it was. They finally showed it off, and I was like, this looks really, really cool. Now, the jump from the last time we saw this game to this time seeing the game looks... And it's not to say that it looked bad before, because I thought it looked fine before. But it looks so much better in this showing. And this was a very beefy trailer. They showed a lot off in this trailer. It's a 5-minute, 30-second trailer. Probably the biggest trailer from the show, quite frankly, which is kind of crazy to think about. But they showed a lot, guys. Weapon customization. There were some crazy weapons in this trailer. The characters look really insane also. The dialogue is hilarious, but also really serious. Like, tonally, this is seeming to be a very serious game. The world seems a lot bigger than I expected it to be. Like, again, I was hyped for this game going into the showcase. I fully expected we would see it at the showcase. It was in my predictions video. I fully expected it. But the expectations I had for this game and what we would see from it at this showcase, it completely blew my expectations out of the water. This was about as good of a showing as I could have possibly asked for this game. Like I said, it looks so much bigger than I expected it to look. The production value, again, it's not to take a dig at anything that inXile has done before, because the Wasteland series is absolutely legendary for so many people. But the production value, the jump in production value to this game is just absolutely insane. The game looks amazing. The scenes look amazing. The character interaction looks amazing. The weapons look amazing. The world looks amazing. How you affect the world with the choices you make looks amazing. The time bending aspects of it look amazing. Like, this was, again, game of the show for me. Up next, we got another trailer for Gears of War Reloaded. We unfortunately didn't see any Gears of War E-Day at this showcase. But again, Gears of War Reloaded, we got a new trailer. They announced the multiplayer beta, which actually starts June 13th, so it starts pretty soon, honestly. And that's going to be playable, obviously, Xbox, Series X, S, PC. You can play it in the cloud, Xbox Play Anywhere, so it carries your progress between PC and Xbox, which is awesome. Again, another through line of this showcase. Everything is Xbox Play Anywhere, and then also available on Steam and PlayStation 5. The whole beta is going to be cross-play, so I booted up on Xbox, I'm playing with people on Steam, I'm playing with people on PS5, so hopefully it has a very big player base, and hopefully I can get into some games and not get absolutely schooled by, like, elite Gears of War pros. That would be really, really cool. Third up on this list, and this one kind of surprised me, is for two reasons, honestly. First of all, Obsidian has a third game releasing this year. It's Grounded 2. And we're going to talk about it because I played Grounded a little bit. I thought it was fun for what it was. Didn't really particularly stick out to me. I certainly didn't stick with the game. But they showed off Grounded 2 at this showcase. And it looks really good. It looks like a pretty big improvement over Grounded 1, which is exactly what you want from a sequel. Like, they have mounts. Like, I saw them riding ants. You can ride spiders, which looks really cool. I mean, they were building some really crazy bases. They showed Grounded 2 also as a part of the Outer Worlds 2 Direct. They showed Outer Worlds 2, and then they went into Grounded 2 afterwards. And the cool thing about Grounded 2 is we don't have to wait too long to play this, because it is coming to game preview on Xbox July 29th. So next month, not too far off from now, we're going to be playing Grounded 2. I'm certainly going to be checking this out. I'm going to see if I can get some people together and play this, like, as part of a group. I think that was a problem with the first one, is I didn't have a group to play it with. And I think for a game like this, you probably want a group to play it with. So gonna see if I can get a group together and we can jump into this and have some fun. We also got this new game announcement from Double Fine, a game called Keeper I don't know what this game is on it. I mean, you're playing as a lighthouse, which is kind of funny, but I don't know what to expect from this game. It is coming out this year, October 17th, which is, nice. It's not too long to wait from now. We will be playing it this year, obviously coming to Game Pass, but the game looks very, very nice. Like the art style, again, Double Fine's really, really good with their art, and this is no different in that aspect. The art style looks really nice. The game, I would imagine this game is going to look beautiful on an HDR screen. I'm interested to check it out. I don't know what to expect from this, but I definitely want to see more, and I definitely want to give it a shot when it launches. We obviously got to see some Ninja Gaiden 4 here at the showcase, which doesn't come as a surprise. The game is funded by Xbox, which is pretty cool. The game is also coming out October 21st. The trailer was cool. I always look at Ninja Gaiden like, that looks so awesome, and then I play it and I get my ass kicked, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's not for me. But because, I mean, it is in Game Pass, I'll give it a shot. If I end up liking it, I'll buy it. It's no big deal. But I am interested to try this game out for sure. It looks like it's going to be really badass. Up next, we've got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 Remake. This is actually coming out next month, July 11th. I think we knew it was coming out in July. I don't think we knew that it was July 11th. So again, not far off from now. Like just a little bit over a month from now, we're going to have our hands on this one. I know, me personally, I have a lot of fond memories of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Specifically, it was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. I played a ton of that as a kid. I loved Tony Hawk's Pro Skater when I was a kid. Also, obviously enjoyed Underground as a kid, but maybe one day we'll get remakes of that. Who knows? But for now, it's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I'm excited to check it out. It's not my most anticipated thing from the showcase, but I am happy to see it, and I will absolutely be giving it a shot once it launches next month. And again, in Game Pass, because it is owned by Xbox. And then we get The Outer Worlds 2. We got the direct after the show, but I mean, that's its own thing. If you want to dive into the direct, I highly recommend doing it, because that direct had a lot of information in there. There was some funny stuff in there as well. That they did a really good job. Obsidian's a hilarious studio. They also got, shout out to Ben Schwartz. They got the guy from Parks and Rec. I know a lot of people are going to say the guy from Sonic, and I get that, because he wasn't Sonic, and Sonic for a lot of people is probably bigger than Parks and Rec. But I know him as John Ralphio from Parks and Rec, and he was hilarious in the developer direct. The game looks amazing, and we did get a release date for the game, October 29th. So again, not far off. We got Avowed this year. We're getting Grounded 2. We're getting Outer Worlds 2. Obsidian is absolutely on fire. I don't know how they're doing what they're doing, because from what I understand, they're not a massive team. Like, they're a relatively small team by AAA standards, split up into multiple teams, and they're releasing 3 games in a year. That is very, very impressive. And Outer Worlds 2 looks amazing. Looks like a massive step up from the first game in terms of the combat, in terms of the story, in terms of the world. Obviously, visually, it's a better looking game than the original. I mean, I can't wait to play this game. Again, October 29th, and obviously in Game Pass. And finally, we gotta talk about the show closer, guys. And this one is quite controversial online. I'm sure you guys have seen it. I'm sure you guys have your own opinions about it. But we got Call of Duty Black Ops 7 closing the show. And listen, it doesn't surprise me that we saw Call of Duty. I mean, Microsoft owns Activision now. We're going to see Call of Duty every single year. I never in my wildest dreams thought that Call of Duty would close the show. I thought that would be something like right in the middle of the show. But then again, if you step back and think logically about it, Call of Duty is going to be the biggest thing they release this year. No matter how big Oblivion was, doesn't matter how well received Outer Worlds 2 is, doesn't matter how well received Doom: The Dark Ages was, Black Ops 7 will be the biggest thing Xbox releases this year. So in that regard, I can totally see why they would end the show with this. My only issue was that the way they were showing this off, I was watching it with my buddies, and we were kind of throwing it around like, yo, is this Titanfall 2? Is this like Quantum Break 2? Because it at some points looked like it was very Remedy-esque. And I was like getting really excited. Like, dude, if this is Quantum Break 2, I'm going to lose my mind. And then they hit us with Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and I was just like, yo. And again, it's no shade to Call of Duty. I'm gonna play it, especially that, because that looked really interesting. It looks like it's gonna be a really like a trippy story, and I'm really into that. But man, the way they were showing it off, I thought it was like some new IP or something, and I was getting irrationally excited. And so when they hit me with Call of Duty, I was like, oh damn it, that's right. They didn't show Call of Duty yet, so that makes sense. But that was the show closer. I am excited to try it out because, you know, I play Call of Duty every year. It does look like a more unique Call of Duty experience. Like, it looks very out there. Like I said, it gave off kind of Remedy vibes watching that trailer. So who knows? Maybe this could be like a psychological kind of a thriller, which I would really be into that. I think that would be really unique for Call of Duty. But we're going to have to see more about it. Obviously, they're going to show off more about it this summer when they officially reveal it. So I think our questions will probably be answered this summer. So I'm looking forward to it. And we don't have a release date yet, but it is coming out this year. All right, guys, but that is the Xbox showcase, at least from my perspective. That's what I was most hyped for from this Xbox showcase. But of course, leave in the comments below. Let me know what you are most excited about from this showcase. Let me know your top 5, top 3, top 10. I don't give a damn. Let me know what your most hyped games were from this showcase. Leave a like if you like the video. And if you're enjoying this kind of content and you want to stay up to date with it going forward over here on the channel, the best way to do that is consider subscribing. Consider ringing that notification bell because that helps you stay up to date with everything that happens over here on the channel. And it helps promote me, and the algorithm helps push the videos out to way more people. And I always, always, always appreciate that. And with that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.